Hello and welcome to No Sevens Dice Club College Football Predictions Week 6, 2024. Well, we are at the halfway point of college football. Hard to believe, and that'll be the end of the season. Um, Last week we went 3-1. Michigan was winning, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, they just fell apart. But it had a really nice parlay if all four teams won, but I just couldn't pull it out. So, what we learned about Michigan is they don't have a defense. Uh, so we went 3-1, and the past 2 weeks. Last week we went 4-1, so we're 7-2 over the past 2 weeks. So we're doing really good. Right now we are 14-6 for the season, and let's see if I can fix this a little bit, bring this out a little bit. And UCL, yep. And doing great. So we won September. That was the huge one. It was 5 weeks in September. Hard to believe. I mean, it just seemed like that month was never going to end. Um, it just, I mean, it felt a lot longer to me than, I don't know, than a normal September month for college football. But hey, look, I'll take it. So in 22, we won all 3 months. 23, we won all 3 months. And 24, we won September. So, man, we're on a great winning streak. And hopefully we can continue. We haven't had a losing week in quite some time. I'm not going to mention when because I don't want to talk about losing weeks. So let's go over week 5 notes. Ole Miss goes down in a close game. Man, that was... Whew, man, I tell you what, Kentucky is the real deal. I don't know if why they're not getting enough recognition. I know they lost 2 games, but man, Kentucky, they are a sleeper for the SEC. I mean, they almost beat Georgia. They beat Ole Miss. Ole Miss is going to South Carolina. We're going to cover that game a little bit later. But man, hand it to Kentucky to play a really good game against Lane Kiffin and the Lane Train. So hope you guys enjoyed that. That was really good. Miami wins in a weird call, man. If you watched that on Friday night, I don't know how else to call that. I hope you guys watched that. If you guys are sports, college football fans especially, and sports fans, how crazy can that be? Where they call it a touchdown on the field, and then like what was it, 30, 45 minutes of a review, they went ahead and says, nope, pass incomplete. And they were saying that the Virginia Tech guy had the ball, and then the Miami cornerback safety hit the ball or something while he was out of bounds, sliding out of bounds, and so now it's an incomplete pass. I don't know. It was so sad to see. I mean, man, I just I don't know. I don't have words for it. Still, I think it's going to lead to a really great game next year. Let's just put it to you that way. Bama brings down Georgia. Man, Georgia almost came back and won that game. I don't know if you guys watched that. Trump was there at the game. Trump seems to like to go to the big Alabama games. He was there for the 2019 LSU Bama game. That was a really good game too. And then he went to the LSU National Championship that year also. But Alabama, man, they're the real deal, and they're ranked number 1. They are the Kings, and that's the reason why I have Texas and Alabama playing each other if it all works out conference wise and seeding wise and everything else. That Alabama and Texas are going to be playing for the national championship, and I have Texas winning it at the very end. But we shall see. Given to Caleb DeBoer, the head coach for Alabama, that he's doing a great job with that system. And I know it's a lot of Nick Saban players and everything else. So we'll see how he does in, 2 or 3 years from now when it's just his players and not Nick Saban's players. But hand it to Alabama to hand Georgia their first loss. It was a 42 game winning streak. Hard to believe. I mean, 42 games that they've won, not including the playoffs or anything else. But 42 games. I think the last game they lost was back in 2020. Hard to believe. 2021. Something insane. And, you know, away games was crazy. I mean, it's just a lot of records came down when Georgia lost that game. So, hats off to Alabama. Played a really good game. UCLA holds on to the point spread. Wow, I don't know if you guys were watching that with me. I stayed up to 1:30 in the morning Central Time watching this, and Oregon gets the ball back on, I think, their 30-yard line with 6 minutes and 30 seconds left, and they're driving down the field with a brand new quarterback because they took everybody out. And I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? They're driving down the field, and I'm going to lose it because, I mean, it was so close. I mean, it was like, what, 2 point difference. So no matter if they kicked the field goal, no matter what, we were going to lose, and we were going to be tied instead of 3-1. But they just kept on run plays, and then once when they got to the 2 minute warning, they call it 2 minute half, timeout, but 2 minute warning, they decided to take a knee and call it a game, and it was 34-13. So I'm glad we were able to hold on. And Utah goes down. Utah, man, Cam Rising was out of that game, and I was watching that game at the same time with UCLA, and man, Utah just doesn't have it in them, and got to hand it to Arizona. Arizona played a great game against Utah to bring them down. And in fact, Arizona is the biggest spoiler team, so got to keep that in mind. Arizona is the biggest spoiler team in the past 20 years to bring down top 10 teams. They brought down more top 10 teams in the past 20 years than any other program. Arizona, hard to believe. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our picks. On a quick note, I'm going to really test you guys to see if you really listen to this. So I'm going to throw this in right now. Last week I was telling you I was drinking a cough syrup and I was a little bit underneath the weather. I sounded like this, but I found out, and I think I sound a little bit better today. This is Tuesday when I'm shooting this. I had COVID. Didn't even realize it. So it was a mild case of COVID. I'll call it the COVID, the hungry COVID, because the only thing I ever wanted to do was eat. I mean, I was starving the whole entire time I had COVID. Just had some like sinus pressure in my head, and nose was stuffy, but no cough, just eyes watering, nose runny, and that was pretty much about it. No other symptoms of COVID, so I'm feeling great that I dodged a great bullet. It was very light, in and out. What was it, like 4 or 5 days? It was done, and still getting over a little bit of it, but I have my full breath. When I had COVID before and I was doing videos, I was running out of breath, and I need to, I have, everything is here, I don't have COVID brain, I don't think, and I might have COVID brain. If some of these picks don't work out, I have COVID brain, because I made these picks during COVID. So, anyway, that's it. Let's go over week 6 notes. I did a little bit more than normal. Like I said, I can blame it on COVID if it doesn't work out. And if it does work out, or I win them all, I'm saying, well, COVID gave me good luck for my picks. I don't know. But let's go ahead and move it over. And let's just go ahead and adjust it, and let's get right into it. All right. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. All right. So we are going to get into week 6. Zoom that in a little bit. And, all right. So first game is Michigan State at Oregon. Oregon is -24. This is an 8 p.m. game. How in the world did it get to the top? I usually like to do my 11 a.m. game first. I don't know what happened. All right, COVID. That's what's happened. All right, so anyway, Michigan State played a really great game last week, and we took the other team. I can't remember who that was. What was it? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're playing. Michigan State is flying to the West Coast. They're going to Oregon. I see Michigan State as kind of like the UCLA team. So I look for Oregon just to keep on rolling. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this. I really just expect Oregon just to keep on going. Michigan State, they kind of self-imploded last week when they were playing whoever it was. I can't even think about it, so I guess I do have COVID brain. But so let's just go ahead and take Oregon minus 24. Look for them just to keep on rolling. Michigan State is going to be the first time playing in Oregon, so this ought to be interesting. Looking forward to a great game. This is at 8 p.m. So let's lock it in. Dan Landing over there, he's got a really good team. Seems to be doing well. After the Bo Nix left, and now he's playing in Denver in the NFL. So looks like they're doing well. What's his name? Gabriel, I think it is. He was supposed to be with Oklahoma, right? And then he transferred out when Lincoln Riley left, I believe, if I remember the story right. All right, next up is Iowa at Ohio State. This game is really hard, and I thought about this. I looked at some previous years because I noticed Iowa's always got a really good defense, but Ohio State's offense, man, is just cruising right now. And this has always been a little bit of a trap game for me. I've always just said, man, Ohio State's just going to blow them out. And then Iowa's defense just, shuts them down to almost nothing. And then Iowa just, collects those, the plus 20 points and, moves on. But Ohio State wins the game. So it's a little bit of a trap game. We already know Ohio State's going to win the game. But the points is what's always a little bit difficult. And that's what I have trouble with on some of these other games down at the bottom of the board. But for this one, I think Ohio State's just going to keep cruising. That offense is just humming. Iowa's defense, I don't think it's as good as it once was the past few seasons. They're still kind of that rebuild phase. They don't have an offense. I don't know what it is with Iowa, man. They just, great defense, but always seems to be struggling with that offense. It's at 2:30 p.m. on CBS. Let's just go ahead and lock in Ohio State minus 20 and a half. Look for that offense just to keep rolling. Jim Day's doing a great job over there as a head coach, and that's pretty much about it. Their wide receiver, I can't think of his name right now for Ohio State, is playing phenomenal. So I'm glad that they have another great wide receiver after Marvin Harrison Jr. left, and that's about it. Let's keep on rolling. Ohio State is going to probably cover this. If it keeps on climbing a little bit higher, I would fade this game. But at minus 20 and a half, as long as it's below 21 points, this is a pretty good spot to be in. So let's go ahead and lock it in at minus 20 and a half. All right, there we go. It's all locked in. Next up is Auburn at Georgia. I tell you what, Auburn played a really good game against Oklahoma. And in fact, I thought I was going to lose that game because I picked Oklahoma in the point spreads. And we were down. It was what? 24-10 going into the fourth quarter last week. And Oklahoma just came alive, in the second, in that fourth quarter and just won that game, I think 28-24. So it was really good to see Oklahoma come back. But man, Auburn looks really good, this year. They don't look as bad as what people have said they do. They just can't close out a game, I guess, or whatever it may be. But they're still struggling. They're still trying to find their identity, but they're coming together. The parts and pieces are coming together. Hugh Freeze, the head coach, is doing a great job over there. It's just going to take time. You just got to build it and build it and build it. And it takes nothing's an overnight success in either NFL or college, and that's what people got to realize. It takes time to build and get your people and your players and your coaches that you want in your system. But this week they're playing Georgia. Georgia lost to Alabama. Georgia's minus 24. This is a 2:30 p.m. game on ABC. Georgia's going to come here and just literally destroy Auburn. I feel bad for Auburn. If I was Auburn, I would say I have COVID and I can't play this weekend. I'm sorry, coach. I'm making a business decision that I respect my body because I don't feel like becoming a human tackling dummy. Because that's what's literally going to happen to Auburn. Georgia's just going to come in here, just annihilate Auburn. I mean, I don't even think they're going to get past the 50-yard line. It's going to be bad because Georgia's going to come in here and just play a really pissed off game. and wanting to literally rip somebody's head off, especially because Auburn is from Alabama. So they're looking at like this is the other Alabama team. Okay, here we go. So let's just go ahead and just bury them in the hedges, you know. So let's go ahead and take Georgia minus 24. This game is going to be very lopsided because Auburn might score maybe 3 points, maybe 10 points, maybe a touchdown, and that'll be about it. And then it'll be totally shut down. And I look for Georgia to score probably about 30 points in this game, and at least 24, to cover the points. So it's going to be a close point spread, but I look for them to score at least 30, 35 points because they had the offense to do it. I mean, they scored almost 30 against Alabama. So, and Auburn does not have a defense like Alabama does. So I really like Georgia to come in here and take care of business, and I like Auburn to become a tackling dummy. So let's lock in Georgia minus 24. Okay, it is locked in, guys. So we got Georgia minus 24. Next up is Tennessee. I added 2 games to this. I added the USC game and I added the Ole Miss. And I was really hesitant on if I wanted to add those games or not. But I did go ahead and add them. And that's where I can blame COVID because normally, my rule of thumb is I like to stick to 4 games. But unless there's a lot, then I'll probably add some more. So this time I added 6 games. So let's go ahead and go into Tennessee minus 13.5 at Arkansas. This is a 6:30 p.m. game on ABC, and all my times are Central Time. So when you guys are looking it up, they're Central Time. So Tennessee is minus 13.5. Their offense is just humming. I mean, I don't think anything is stopping them. Arkansas played a great game in their classic Southwest conference game that they always play in Dallas every year, in Jerry World against Texas A&M. Played a really, really great game. Not so much against Arkansas. Tennessee is just going to come here and just light up that scoreboard, and I expect that it's going to be about 40 to about 40 points to 20 points. That's where I kind of expect this game. Tennessee's offense is just legit. Their defense is getting better. I kind of look at Arkansas as kind of like how that game was against Oklahoma a few weeks ago when Tennessee played Oklahoma, and it wasn't even close. That's how I kind of, grade Arkansas as an Oklahoma team right now. So I really like Tennessee in this. I think Tennessee is going to win great. If it goes past 17, Tennessee minus 17, I would fade this game. But at Tennessee being less than 2 touchdowns, this is a perfect opportunity to jump in and let's lock it in. So let's get Tennessee minus 13.5. Okay. Seems like, what was it? 21, I was doing a sports update. It was week 1 when I had Delta COVID, and man, I was like, here's your pick. So I feel really confident about how I sound right now and my stamina and everything. Really enjoying it. All right, so my last 2 picks are my COVID picks. So this is COVID, no sevens picking these. So let's see how COVID does. All right, USC minus 9 at Minnesota. Minnesota played Michigan. And USC is going back, it's the back and forth. They got to figure out how to make this better for this, West Coast teams to keep on flying to Middle America. But USC is minus 9. They're at Minnesota. Minnesota played a really good game. They could have beaten Michigan because Michigan just collapsed. But it seems like USC is getting better. Their defense is getting better. Lincoln Riley is developing that team a lot better. And I feel that USC is not going to let Minnesota come back in this game like Michigan did. It's. I kind of look at USC, and this is where I was thinking when I picked this game. I see USC going in there and handling business, and the score is going to be like it was before the fourth quarter in that Michigan-Minnesota game, where it was like 24-7 or 24-10. But they're not going to have a collapse. That's how I'm hoping that USC plays this game. That's the reason why I like this game. I look for USC just to keep on going. And I also like Lincoln Riley. I know he's going to keep on pushing the pedal and keep on scoring points. He's not going to let off on that unless it's 60 points. So I really like USC -9 on this. USC is doing a great job, moving forward, and now they're getting into where they need to start developing a great resume. So now they need to start developing great wins and blowout wins. So look for USC to win this game, and that was my logic behind this. So USC -9, it's perfect. It's not -10. So oh, there's my first COVID cough. So we're getting it below 10 points, which is perfect. I like that. So let's lock it in USC -9. If it goes to USC -14, I would fade this game. But USC -9 is where I like it, so let's lock it in. You know who I look at? I don't feel bad for the players that got to hop on a plane and, travel to Middle America. You know who I feel bad for? I feel bad for the truck drivers. And I mean our truck drivers. But I'm talking about the truck drivers that drive for the school. Can you imagine? You go to Michigan, you come back, you play a game at your home stadium back in California, in Southern California, and then you unpack the truck and everything else, and it's like, all right, boys, let's pack it all up, heading back to Minnesota. Maybe it's just me. That's how I would be. I'd be like, are you serious? We just left there. Can we have like a warehouse over there? Hey, look, mate, that might be a great idea. Have a warehouse over there with equipment for USC. Have two little hubs, one in Middle America over there and one in USC. I think I came up with a great idea for them. All right, so this is the last game. Turn it over a little bit. This is the other COVID game. Ole Miss -9 at South Carolina. Okay, so I went back and forth with this for about 30 minutes, trying to decide on what I like and what I should do. Ole Miss lost in a bitter defeat to Kentucky, and South Carolina's got the same kind of defense as Kentucky does. Great defensive end, notorious for their sacks, played a really great game against LSU. And frankly, I think that they probably should have won that game against LSU. Some bad calls. We all heard about it, that the refs gave the game to LSU. And well, I'm not going to get into all that. But Ole Miss is -9 here. This is going to be a very close game. I already made my pick for this. And so I'm going to go ahead and tell you my pick, but I also want to tell you what I should have done and what I recommend for you guys for actually both of these games, because I locked this in for both of them. So I went ahead and I took Ole Miss -9. I like Lane Kiffin to score points and everything else. I think they have a great offense and everything. But I realized that was a mistake. But I already locked it in. I already put in my bet. All my bets are already put in. When I'm shooting this, I make all my bets first. I lock them in, and then I give you my bets or my predictions, I should say, not bets, predictions. Let me clarify that. So I took Ole Miss -9. That was my prediction that Ole Miss is going to win -9. The bet that I recommend for you guys is take Ole Miss money line. Ole Miss is going to win this game. But are they going to cover the 9 points? And after I thought about this for about 45 minutes after I made my pick, and when I was writing this down on the board, I realized that was a bad pick. But it's already locked in. I can't take it back. So let's go ahead, take Ole Miss -9. But I like Ole Miss to win the game outright, and that should have been the proper pick. So that's what I recommend for you guys: Ole Miss money line. Now, South Carolina is going to play a really tough game against Ole Miss. Ole Miss is going to come into this game playing pissed off. They're going to want revenge after what happened in Kentucky. They're facing a gauntlet right now. They got Kentucky that they just lost to. They got to play a really good defense in South Carolina, and then they got to go on the road, and then they got to go play LSU next week, and LSU is on a bye week. So they're rested, ready to go for Ole Miss. So Ole Miss needs to win this game, and that's the reason why I like the money line better. Do I think they're going to cover? It's going to be a very, very tight cover, and who knows? Ole Miss might blow this game out the water, and -9 might not be a problem. But Ole Miss needs to win this game because they can't lose this game. They can't lose Kentucky. They can't lose South Carolina, and they can't lose against LSU. Then their whole entire seasons is done. So I don't expect that to happen. I like Ole Miss to win the money line, and I like Ole Miss to hopefully cover the -9. So lock it in, and let's get to the parlays. All right, there it is. Or money line. Okay, so that's our picks. I'm not going to go back and review them. So I hope you guys enjoy watching the video with me because I'm not going to show them to you. You should have stayed with me. I'm not going to let you go back. Oh, here he goes. Boop, 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 boop. All right, we're done. We don't need to listen to crazy no sevens. He just rambles on anyway. All right, so the parlays, the money line parlays. Who do we like? We like Oregon. Hey, look, we got a new team in here. We got Penn State. All right, let's go Penn State. We got Ohio State. We got Georgia to keep on rolling. We got Ole Miss to roll. We got Bama to keep on rolling. We got Clemson, Tennessee, and USC. I'm putting Clemson back on the parlay. They better do me a solid and win that game, because if not, they're going back in the black book. I took them out of the black book to put them on a money line parlay, so we shall see how they do. And if they don't do us a solid, well, guess where they're going. You got it. All right, guys. So that is my pick. Looking for a great October. October can get a little choppy for us, but I feel confident. I feel confident that we're going to do great in October. I love October. It's my birthday month. A lot of great things happen in October. The best sport month in October. We have baseball playoffs. We have college football. We have NFL. We have basketball. We have NHL. All sorts of great stuff. Man, this is the best month for sports. So I hope you guys are doing great on your picks. I hope you guys are successful. I hope you guys are making some money on my picks. Oh, one quick thing I want to mention to you guys. I am going to go ahead and let me pause this. So I want to make an important announcement at the very end of the video. We made about $200 in a charity fund for September. I don't do a lot of crazy big bets, so that's the reason why. But $200 is what I made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give $200 to the Red Cross. I'm taking all those winnings. I said I was going to wait to the end and do a big $1,000 pot. Well, things have changed. I'm doing a $200 donation to the Red Cross. So I'm taking all my winnings that I made on my sports picks for September, and I'm going to give the $200 to the Red Cross to help out the people in what is it? Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. I mean, God, those people over there have just been absolutely wrecked. If you want to give money, I know that Red Cross is accepting donations. I know Salvation Army is accepting. There's all sorts of great foundations out there giving, accepting cash donations. And if you can go out there and volunteer your time, that's amazing. But me living through Katrina and seeing those pictures of what North Carolina is going through, it brings back a lot of bad memories for me. So I relied heavily on the Red Cross to get me back up and running, and it helped me out. I spent hours and days on the phone with Red Cross trying to get through to a Red Cross person to get aid and help for when Katrina hit me in New Orleans. So, it's kind of like almost, 20 years later, it's 19 years later, I can give back to the Red Cross for another hurricane that just leveled, cities and towns that are no longer there in North Carolina. Chimney Rock was one of my favorite places to visit. That town is gone. It's not even on the map anymore. I mean, that's how crazy this hurricane was, and it's so sad to see. It was one of my most favorite places to visit. Lots of memories there. As you can see, I'm getting a little emotional now talking about it. Um, so, yep. So we're going to do the full amount that we won in September. So the $200 is going to them. I was going to put a check out and show you. Here's the $200 going out, but then it has all my information, so I can't show you a personal check. So I'm just going to go online and make that donation. See if I can't print it out. Show you the $200 in an upcoming video. So, guys, I wish you lots of luck. And sorry this video ran over to 30 minutes, but hey, look, it is what it is. Good luck this week, and just be safe out there, and go from there. So, No Sevens will catch you on the flip side.